Beardos, weirdos, boils and ghouls. I've done it again. I have caused upset. I've caused some discourse. I have outright, flat out offended people. And of course, I'm not one to make mistakes and absolutely annoy people and then not own up to the mistakes that I have made and issue apologies where apologies are due. I'm an honest man. But I'm not even sure where to start with this, so we'll just jump right in. So recently I've done a series of videos, sat in my studio, looking at real, looking at fake, playing video games, the usual. But there's been one key difference that people have picked up on. It's not the new lighting. It's not the fact that I've bought a new camera that can track my motion because I thought it'd look cool for the people at home. Whee! Whee! Enough of that nonsense. You can't have fun on this channel. So, what is it that I have done that has ultimately caused such... Well, if it's not the studio, if it's not the actual content, then what have I done? I'm doing it right now. I'm actually doing it right now. Do you know what has caused offence to people? That is right, beardos, weirdos, boys and ghouls. People are offended that a fat man is wearing a vest. I have received numerous comments. Numerous people put on more clothes. No, what the hell are you wearing? It's a vest. Sometimes it's not a real vest. I've cut a t-shirt up to there, so there's just a thin bit of cloth. Because this has been the warmest summer that I can remember. Even when it's raining, it's hot. And I'm a bit of a fat bap. And being a bit of a fat bap, I get hot. So hot, in fact, I spent 300 quid on an air conditioning unit. And my balls are still moist. It's hideous. In the last 2 months, I've lived in a consistent state of swamp ass and chef's balls. I could wring out my pants if I was wearing any right now. Pants is underwear in the UK. But apparently, shoulders, a little bit of man boob and bingo wings are now offending people. I mean, how dare I get to 44 years of age and be a bit jiggly, be a bit lumpy. I mean, I know I have got the body consistency of a bag of fucking milk. And I've been working hard the last 6 months trying to remove said jiggly bits. But when you're 44, it's a lot harder to lose weight than when you're 34 or 24. To you guys in your 40s with cast iron abs and a chiseled jawline, I respect you. But what I don't really respect is when people start mocking me for the way I dress. And I'm not talking about the community that do it for a bit of a laugh. I'm talking about the assholes that turn up in the comment section like, oh, put on more clothes, fatty. No. Because I'll guarantee you, I mean, you're lucky I haven't got short shorts, because if I had short shorts, I'd be wearing them. And I'd be stood over there right now, twerking or something to make you want to throw up. I apologise for nothing. Genuinely, I was going to go upstairs, find a pair of jeans and cut them above my ass cheeks to do that. But Mrs. Geek is sleeping and I only own 2 pair of jeans, and if I cut them, she's going to be pissed at me. Now, I will guarantee that some of you fine gentlemen that seem to find the sight of me offensive will quite happily walk into your local Asda and stand in the freezer section, hoping and praying that some lovely young thing comes walking down in a tight vest top, hoping to see the briefest peak of nipple so you can go home and touch yourself inappropriately. Hoping those ass cheeks are hanging out in little short shorts. I bet you love it. But if a middle-aged overweight man decides, hey, it's a bit fucking hot in here, as long as I cover the nipples, I'm good, that's offensive to your eyes. Holy shit, don't go to the beach, it's a fucking mess. I am not physically in peak condition. I haven't been for about a decade. No, I don't have a great tan. I have weird tan lines where I've sunburned and it's peeled back off. No, I don't have the greatest hair. No, I don't have the greatest teeth. No, not even my beard is that great. I mean, I look like a tabby cat sat on my face. But I find myself asking the question, you know, I haven't made a video where a bollock just drops out. I haven't live streamed and a nipples... Alright, that actually happened once, and I apologise. A nipple did pop out of my top on a live stream. God damn it. Luckily, I've got very, very small nipples, so it wasn't that offensive to people. As opposed to looking like a nipple, it looked more like a rabbit had taken a shit on my chest, so all good. While we're on the subject, I don't know what that was. While we are on the subject of me offending people with the most mundane of things, I would like to talk to you fine folk about, hey, I've asked you to look at this channel 6 times and you ain't done it. Why? Because they shit. I'm not saying they fake. I'm not saying that they're pulling the wool over your eyes. I'm not saying that they're not fake. What I'm saying is, if you think, ooh, if I go into Beardos emails and say, hey, check out this channel because it's either your own or your mates, and you can get some extra views from that, it's not a smart idea if I open the video and I am greeted with horrible noise. You see, when I open up a video and I press play, and I do it quite often, and I am greeted with this horrible hiss in the sound, and when they say P's, B's or S's and the audio peaks and my ears start to fucking rattle and bleed, and I'm like, ah, fuck that, I'm out. I'm out. Not because I'm mean-spirited, not because I'm an asshole, not because I'm a dickhead, but because I don't want my audience to be as uncomfortable as I did and then show up a really bad channel. There are probably in excess of 100 channels that I have been asked to look at, and as soon as I open it up, it's either Ring doorbell footage or crap CCTV camera footage, terrible audio, and just, I ain't looking at that. I will never look at that. Why? Because I'm mean? No, because it's shit. I do not want to look at really shit, horrible quality content and then put that really shit, horrible content on my channel, end up mocking it because it's that bad, and then expect my audience to sit through it and enjoy it. Yes, I cover small channels, but they at least have to get the audio to a point where my ears are not bleeding. I made that mistake before with that other clown that went on some sort of tirade, and I'm like, your audio's peaking, my ears are fucking bleeding, but you faked all of your ghostly phenomena as well. But I don't want to do that. So if you are sat there wondering why I haven't looked at your favourite channel, maybe it's because your favourite channel, which is probably yours, or your mum's, or your dad's, or your kids, or your brothers, or your aunties, or your uncles, or the guy you're poking behind your wife's back, it is their channel, and it sucks. I don't want to look at it. Tough titties. If you want me to look, or if you want somebody to look and give some form of an opinion, sort out your audio. Please, for the love of God, sort out your audio. I would rather watch a video that is too quiet than a video that is peaking all over the place, because it's painful. I wear in-ear monitors, and every time somebody says Spirit Box, which has an S and a P and a T, my earphones want to jump out and slap me in the face for putting them through it. Why does Beardo only cover big channels? Well, I don't know if you know this, but this is YouTube. It's a social platform, and while it's a social platform, it's also many people's way of earning a living. It is my way of earning a living. So on occasion, I'm going to have to make a Most Haunted, a Sam and Colby, a Twin Paranormal, a Really Haunted video to make ends meet. Because every time I make the videos that some of you people want me to make, it doesn't do so well. But I make them anyway because you guys enjoy them. But there is always some killjoy in the comment section. Oh, why have you made? Do you think I want to watch Sam and Colby? I don't. But if my audience want me to make it, I'll make it. If my audience want me to suffer and want me to mock, I'll do it. I will take one for the team of debunking. And yes, I am in fact wearing I Love the Backstreet Boys in a vest. The nipples are covered, the back fat doesn't look too bad, the gut is still poking out a bit. And the reason I'm wearing this t-shirt, complete with erect nipples because of the air conditioning, is because a very young viewer of the channel keeps sending me Backstreet Boys merch because she knows I hate them. But I'll wear it anyway to appease little Cassidy May. How dare I be nice to a child? Quick, ring child line. Beardo's a bit of a twat. And last but not least, to the man that calls himself Outlaw, that turned up in my comment section and said, I'm going to find you and shut your big mouth a-hole. My a-hole is down there, my mouth is up there. Which one are you going to shut? Now, if you're talking about violence, it's not the smartest of move to threaten somebody on the internet and then act out that threat because it's premeditated and, you know, whatever. But you've got Outlaw in your name. Ooh, maybe you're a badass. Maybe you're an actual outlaw. Or maybe you've watched one too many episodes of Sons of Anarchy and think you're hard as fuck. I imagine you're probably not. Why would an outlaw be pissed at me saying, that green filter isn't night vision. Why have you done that? People could see that you're faking just because of that. I wouldn't use that again. How nasty, how vitriolic and stuff. I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hip here. Stop threatening people online. It's not big and it's not clever. And to be fair, some smart ass like me is just gonna mock because I don't give a fuck. Look at this bingo wing. I bet Gary in the comments is like, oh my god, that middle-aged man is shaking his bingo wing at me. He's gonna take off. I can't fly. I can't fly. Maybe I should jump off my roof, spread my arms like a wing gliding suit and see how far I get. Maybe I'll get to Swansea. Weirdos, balls of ghouls. Yes, this has all been tongue-in-cheek mocking, but, you know, I've got a thick skin. I don't give a fuck if somebody says, oi fap, oi, cover up your man tits. I don't care. But there are people on the internet that are going to take a comment like that to heart. Even if it's not about them. They may be sat there sweating their balls off or their flaps off in the middle of summer, wearing something quite revealing just to keep cool in this heat. And then they see a comment like that. You may trigger something in them because eating disorders, body dysmorphia, these are real things. So maybe try to think about people's feelings just a little bit. And I know it's a bit rich coming from a guy that calls people fakers and liars and all the rest of it, but they are faking. They are lying. That is their choice. And then they put that out on the internet for all to see. Much like me wearing a vest being overweight. My entire channel's a lie. That's it. The negative Nancys have won. I quit. But of course, I'm not going to end the video there. I'm not going to end on this negative Nancy thing. I want to thank you guys. The beardos, weirdos, the cocks, COCS, not being rude, Cult of Common Sense. That's 3. Cult of Common Sense. I don't know how I came up with 3. It's 4 letters. It's 4 words, not 3. I don't know why I did that. There are people in this community that have supported me since I was under 1,000 subscribers. There's a number of people in here actually that have supported me from a couple of hundred. So I want to thank the beardos, weirdos and the cocks because you have made a dream come true for me. And you may be sat there like, what? What dream? I have always wanted to be in entertainment or an entertainer. It's what I've always wanted to do. I didn't wake up in 1989 like, I want to be a YouTuber, damn it. Mostly because the internet didn't exist. I probably woke up in 1989 like, I want to be Spider-Man. Thwip, 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 thwip. Kind of unrealistic. But as I got a little bit older, I knew I wanted to be on the stage. And I'll talk about theatre. I can't act for shit. I want to die. I've got a cool acting story we will get into in a little bit. I always wanted to be an entertainer and I loved music. And at a young age, I got into trying to play the drums, trying to play the guitar, trying to play bass. But I was a very shy child. Singing was not on my list. Teenage years, I discovered that I had a unique ability. That I could scream consistently for long periods of time without damaging my voice. It's called vocal frying. And I just had this natural gift to do it without losing my voice. And then I learned to control it and to be able to change pitch while I was doing it. So I got into numerous nu metal bands and thrash bands and really harsh vocals. I attempted singing in quite a few of them. I thought I sucked. Some people said I was alright. I went to college. I did performing arts. And I was in college with some people that went on to be in some rather large bands. I mean, I've got a very close friend in Funeral for a Friend. I went all through school with him. While we were in different music colleges, we played shows together and stuff. I went to college with some of the guys from Bullet for My Valentine. I have met a lot of guys at jam nights and at small local gigs and stuff that have gone on to have major success. And I always wanted a slice of that pie. That's why I went to college to do performing arts in the first place. I remember the day I came home from a college interview and I walked into the house, proud as fuck. Hey dad. I got into college and my dad was just like, oh, thank you. Thank you. I told you to stay in education. What are you doing? Plumbing, brickwork, carpentry? Because they're all things my dad used to do. And I went, I'm going to be a musician. If you could have seen my dad's face, you'd swear I stole his fucking car and wrapped it up around a lamppost and then came home with the keys like, modified your car. He was so disappointed, but supportive. My mum kind of went, oh, he's only going to quit that after a couple of months. Haha, mother, you were wrong. I didn't quit after a couple of months. I was thrown out. While we were on the subject of college, obviously, they were musicians, they were actors, they were dancers, they were stage technicians, and I did find an interest in stage tech. And I was even involved in the Christmas show that we put on. I had nothing to do with being on stage. I was up in the lighting booth, controlling the sound and the lighting, and I enjoyed it. Something I passed on to my son. My son went on to college and then university to do what I did, but to a much better degree. My son is now a full-time sound engineer for rather large venues. He has worked on shows with the likes of Rammstein, Elton John, the WWE. He's doing incredibly well, and he's doing something that I wanted to do. And when he came home and said, I've got into college, oh, what are you doing? And he said, I'm doing music tech. A little tear in the corner of my eye, like, that's my boy. Luckily for him, he was far more dedicated and well-behaved than I was. While we're on the subject of college, quick story. Acting. At one point, I wanted to be an actor. Not on stage. That makes me cringe. But I wanted to be in movies and all the rest of it. There was a shout from a Welsh TV show called Tair Chwaer, which translates in English to Three Sisters, and they had a Christmas or a New Year's special, and they thought that coming to the local college to ask the Performing Arts department to supply extras was a great idea. Now, some of these people involved in this are actually in the community, friends that I have had for a lifetime. Michael Davis, Sam Edwards, Carrie, you know who you are. So they asked us to turn up, dress smartly, and to act like you were having a good drunk time at a barn dance. And I shit you not, me, Sam, Carrie, Mike, oh, we were convincing. We were so convincing that we were having a good time and we were drunk, mostly because we were shit-faced. We stopped off in Spa when we were told what we were doing, filled carrier bags with booze and snuck it in, and we got drunk on a double-decker bus. I think the production were quite annoyed, and I think we got into a bit of trouble with the college because, yeah, we were shit-faced. But I actually made it onto TV. My mum actually watched it, proud as shit, and then she went, that's you? That's you there, look, right in the back. And for about 3 frames, and I don't know how my mum spotted it at the time, there was a quick flash of an orange Ben Sherman shirt and some guy with long blonde hair. That was me. Why was I wearing an orange Ben Sherman shirt, being at the time a goth? I had to borrow my dad's colourful orange shirt because I didn't own a shirt. That's the only acting I ever did. I hated it. I can't stand it. It was like, yeah, stand there, dance, look drunk. Mike, I'm gonna need another Guinness. This sucks. But music stayed with me. I then went on to have children, and I still performed in bands. You know, I did the toilet circuit for years. I played some big venues too, but they were mostly empty because people only wanted to watch the headline band. But I loved it. And then I saw a video of Motley Crue, specifically Vince Neil, forgetting the words to his own song, kind of squeaking his way through them, sweating like a pig. I was like, shit, I'm approaching 40. I don't want to be that guy. But the difference is, he was successful. I haven't been. I don't want to be some 40-year-old guy jumping about on a stage to 10 people looking absolutely ridiculous. And so I left, trying to make it in the music industry. It was great seeing my friends thrive, and some of them are still going, and they're still filling arenas. Awesome. But I realised it wasn't for me anymore. I've been asked to join a couple of bands in the last couple of years, and I'm just like, I've got no interest in it anymore. And then my wife said, you need a creative output, you're a creative person. So I moved on to art. I've always been able to draw. So I started making my own art. There used to be some of it in the studio here, but I think it's all been put away. Started making art, selling art. Some of it sold, a lot of it didn't. It's all up my stairs now because nobody wanted it. But I enjoyed the process of making it, and when somebody did buy it, I'd be like, I made that, and I've earned £15 for it. Score. I was proud of that, but it wasn't in front of people. It wasn't on stage. It wasn't creative in person. People were buying the after effect, and I'm like, And then my wife had an idea, because I used to watch tons of unboxing videos. People doing mystery boxes. I loved that shit. People's action figure collection, people Funko Pop collection. I loved it, and I was buying stuff. My wife said, well, why don't you just start recording you opening these things up? I will be the greatest unboxer on the planet. Never got 1,000 subscribers, but I cut my teeth on YouTube there. I absolutely adored it. a lot of the stuff in this room came from that channel. I and my wife spent money that we didn't have trying to make that channel into something. It never really worked. Then the lockdowns happened and I discovered Twitch. More to the point, I discovered Tim the Tap Man and I was like, I want to do that. I'm fat. I'm funny. I can play Warzone. Then I moved into horror gaming, and then there was a bit of everything, and then I introduced the jump scares sounds, and then the jump scares on screen through Dixper, and then Twitch made some horrible decisions that ultimately made me want to walk away from the platform, and I was doing okay. People thought I was going to make Twitch partner that year because my consistent viewing figures kept growing, and then the hot tub meta landed, and I was like, this site is for 13-year-olds up. It's kind of aimed at the demographic of teenagers, and there's half-naked people everywhere. Nobody's watching gaming. To quote the meme, fuck this shit, I'm out. It should also be noted that while I was doing very well on Twitch, it was through the lockdown, so it was kind of a false start. But then everybody was streaming on Twitch, and a lot of people never got to where I did. I was never a big channel, but when I was furloughed, Twitch enabled me to keep my house. But the platform, it started hemorrhaging viewers and streamers. A lot of people were going to other places to stream, and I just full on went, I want nothing to do with this anymore. And I made Twitch advice videos while streaming on a platform that I didn't enjoy. And my wife said, why don't you do what you really love to do? I'm like, what? She was like, the paranormal. Nobody's gonna watch that shit. It's all full of crap. And I started watching videos, seeing if I could find things that could pique my interest, things that looked real. Discovered Mindseed. Discovered fakery in a Mindseed video, and then the top 5 videos. Like, that's fake. That's fake. I wonder how they did that. Oh, that's how they did that. And then it's grown into this thing that is now approaching 60,000 subscribers within 3 years. And I am so proud of it. I am so proud that this has become a full-time job. And yes, I have put a lot of money in. Yes, I have put a lot of time in. I still put a lot of time in. I still put a lot of money in. But it pales for what you guys have done for me. When I needed a 4K camera to go out investigating and I didn't have the money, you guys did that. Specifically, CRL did that. Before she was a mod. Just donated $500. Yeah, go buy the camera. What the fuck? And people kept donating because they knew I needed better equipment. I mean, my old desk, some people saw the photograph of it. It was broke. My old desk was sitting on a wonk because I broke it rage quitting Warzone. But because of you guys watching and subscribing and liking and sharing and commenting and the Discord community and everything else that we'd done, the company reached out to me like, hey, we've got this fan dabby dozy desk. It's electric. You can stand up and stream. You can sit down and stream. Would you like to advertise it? And I went, hell yeah. Absolutely. Not a cheap desk. But it was given to me. I have been given other things through sponsorships, and some of those videos you've never seen the sponsorship go out for because the stuff wasn't there. For example, there was an energy drink company that Ghost Theory promoted, sent me a big yellow box full of stuff. Ooh. They offered me a lot of money to promote the thing. You'll see me drinking out of the cup. I kept that. I made the first drink. I was like, ooh, that's quite nice. That's quite tasty. There was like 100 sachets, all of the different flavours they do. One box full of energy drinks, one box full of cold tea things, and then the other one was a hydration pack. And then every day I try a different one. It tastes like Aldi squash, but somebody's put too much water in. Follow the instructions, and it just tasted piss weak. It was nothing special. And that company's stuff wasn't that great. And when I've already been drinking the Sneak brand, I was like, Sneak's just so much more tasty. It would be wrong of me to promote this company when I prefer Sneak. And I'm not sponsored by Sneak. I'm not saying it to say, hey, get 10% off your order with Sneak, code beardo and all that. It's just that I didn't enjoy the product, so I turned down £500 for a 3-minute video. True story. I just didn't like the product. But I wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for you, the viewers. And it just means the world to me that this is my job. And no, the channel isn't growing the way it once was. And no, the views are not always where they once were. But I appreciate every single view. I appreciate every single like, every single comment. Well, not every single comment, because as discussed earlier, some people are dicks. But I wanted to thank you guys, because there are people that have been here from day one. There are people that have just found me in the last couple of weeks. You're all important. You all mean the world to me. You all helped me change my life, and you all helped me make my dream come true. I went from failed musician to moderately successful YouTuber. My dream of being in entertainment is real, and it's because of you guys supporting me and my fat ass. Much love to you all. Beardo out.